Welcome into the San Francisco 49ers Report postgame show. Oh my goodness. That is the reaction. That is the feeling. That is the mood from everybody after the Niners somehow, some way pulled off an epic 24-21 win over the Green Bay Packers to punch their ticket to the NFC Championship game. The San Francisco 49ers have 5 Super Bowls to their name. They're one of the most historic, recognizable brands, not just in the NFL, but all of sports. And they've been involved in some epic playoff games and in epic Super Bowls. But this game belongs now in the 49ers playoff lore as one of the most improbable, one of the most shocking, one of the most thrilling wins that we will ever see in the history of this organization. Brock Purdy, what a go-ahead game-winning drive in the clutch where Brock Purdy, Kyle Shanahan, and this entire Niners team put their nuts on the table. Brock Purdy on that final game-winning drive, 6 of 7, 47 yards, 2 carries for 11 yards, and Christian McCaffrey capped it all off with a touchdown. I told you all week that the Green Bay Packers are a really good team. My final score prediction is 26-21. Final score 24-21. And I told you that this Packers team was legit. This Packers team was scary. And they were going to pose a massive test to this Niners team. They did that. And they outplayed San Francisco for about 58 minutes of this football game. But in those 2 minutes, the Niners came to shine. And finally, San Francisco and Kyle Shanahan able to end the dubious mark of trailing when going into the fourth quarter. And the Niners did it when they needed to the most, when the stakes were the highest, when they needed to come through in a big-time moment. They did. And now they're in the Final Four for the 4th time in 5 years. The 49ers were 0-30 under head coach Kyle Shanahan when trailing by 5 or more points going into the fourth quarter. They are now 1-30. And there's so much to talk about in this show, and there's so much to react to during our post-game program because we're all still trying to catch our breath. We're all still shocked. We're all still stunned. We're all still celebrating over what was an absolutely epic victory. And doing this watch party when more than 300,000 people joined us, we had record numbers tuning into the 49ers Report. It was nail-biting time. And everything felt as though it was arduous, it was hard, it was difficult, it was going against San Francisco. You felt the bad vibes, and you felt as though, oh my goodness, the Niners got the number 1 seed. They had a playoff path that was easier. Having the Cowboys knocked out, the Eagles knocked out, having to face the winner of the Lions-Buccaneers game on Sunday that set up the Niners perfectly to get back to the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas, short travel where the faithful were going to be able to take over Sin City. And you thought, oh my goodness, are they going to choke this opportunity away? And if the Niners lost this game, questions for head coach Kyle Shanahan, who I thought coached the game conservatively, coached the game tight. There were going to be questions about how long this Niners core was going to be able to stay together if they lost this game. Questions about Brock Purdy, who in, by the way, awful weather, did not play all that well. And what was going to be the outlook of this team moving forward. Now everything changes with this Niners win. So with that, I ask you, your one-word reaction to this Niners win. What is it down in the comments section? For me, thrilling is the word. And let's talk about Brock Purdy. Does anybody out there think that Brock Purdy still sucks? Does Amy Trask, formerly of the Raiders, who called Brock Purdy the worst quarterback left in the playoffs still think that Purdy can't play? Purdy on that game-winning drive, 6 of 7 after the Carlson miss, 47 yards, 2 carries for 11 yards on that game-winning drive. Everybody was waiting for this Niners team to have a statement comeback victory. Everybody was asking, what happens when Brock Purdy faces adversity? What happens when Brock Purdy has to come from behind? He was able to do that. Deebo Samuel out early in this game. Head injury, shoulder injury, consecutively. He changed the entire complexion of this Niners offensive unit. And Brock Purdy was missing throws. Brock Purdy couldn't grip the football. Brock Purdy was off all night. But when it came time to win the football game and to execute in a massive moment, the biggest moment of his NFL career, what did Brock Purdy do? It's awesome. 23 of 39, 252 yards in the game, 1 touchdown, no picks. He could have played better. He missed throws for sure. We know that he struggles in the rain. That's an issue. But as you look forward to next weekend, weather is supposed to be perfect. 50s, 60s, sunny at Levi's. And when the conditions are pretty good, Brock Purdy plays damn well. But for him to stare down the gun barrel, to get pressured off throughout the night, to not have Deebo Samuel, to have to come back, to be down, to play poorly, and to win this football game, what a performance for Brock Purdy. And what a job by Kyle Shanahan to put him in a position to succeed and to get over that dubious trend of being 0 for 30 going in when trailing by 5 or more points going into the fourth quarter. Everybody's made such a big deal of that awful, confusing, embarrassing record. Now, you can just flush it down the toilet because San Francisco got that dub. Plenty more to get to here on our postgame show. But first, the 49ers Report is presented by Prize Picks. $100 deposit match at prizepicks.com/CLNS and use the code CLNS. You put in $100, you get $100 back. Daily Fantasy Sports made easy. You pick 2 or more players, and you choose more or less on the projected stat lines. What is Prize Picks? The best daily fantasy sports app, but also the largest independently run daily fantasy sports app. Free download, $100 deposit match, code CLNS. The more or less game, it's a blast, and you can win up to 25 times your money. I hit on Aaron Jones. I hit on Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel injury insurance. So I'm winning money on this Saturday night. Tell me, prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS. Now, in the lead up to this game, I told you to be aware that this Packers team was really good. They certainly put up a fight. And I told you that this Packers team was dangerous. I also told everybody that turnovers were going to be a massive, massive turning point in this football game. And San Francisco, when they turn the football over as compared to when they do not, a completely different football squad. And just give me a moment here and be patient as I try to pull up some numbers for when the Niners win the turnover battle here. Because they won the turnover battle, and that was a huge moment of this game. Dre Greenlaw, dealing with Achilles tendonitis all throughout the week, he intercepts Jordan Love 2 times in this game. The first to clinch the football game, or the second to clinch the football game, the first to really just add some much-needed positive juju for this Niners team. The Niners are now 9-0 when they don't turn the football over. They are 4-5 when they do. San Francisco now 10-1 when they get 2 or more takeaways, but 3-5 when they don't. I thought the only way that the Niners were going to lose this football game is if they were sloppy, they had self-inflicted wounds, and they lost the turnover battle. my points of emphasis going into this game, too. Couple of things. Don't turn it over. No self-inflicted wounds. Check. They got that. I thought that San Francisco had to run the football. And I didn't love Kyle Shanahan's game plan in this game. I thought that he passed way too much in a rainy environment. It didn't make a lot of sense. But San Francisco, against the 28th ranked rushing defense in the National Football League, Kyle Shanahan, to his credit, again, I didn't love the game calling. I didn't love the game planning. I didn't love his strategy. They stuck with the run, and that was important. And even though Christian McCaffrey was getting stuffed over and over and over again, Kyle Shanahan kept going back to him. And San Francisco is now 11-1 when Christian McCaffrey runs for 75 or more yards in a game. That only loss in his Niners tenure coming up against the Baltimore Ravens. Christian McCaffrey, 17 carries, 98 yards, 2 touchdowns, both of which were just phenomenal MVP-level plays and runs. And the Niners as a team, 24 carries, 111 yards, 2 touchdowns. Do I agree with Brock Purdy throwing it 39 times in this weather when he threw more than Jordan Love, who threw 21 to 34 times for 194 yards? No, I don't. And Kyle Shanahan escaped here in this game thanks to this Niners win. If they lost, it would have been bad. It would have been ugly. But credit to Kyle Shanahan for sticking with that ground game. You know, a couple other takeaways that I have in this game are as such here. Niners defense did a good job of bending but not breaking, holding the Packers to 3 points instead of 7. Carlson has the most misses among all field goal kickers in the NFL, and to be able to hold the Packers to 3 points on a couple of different possessions, that was huge in this football game. Dre Greenlaw, game of his life. I thought he played tremendous. Niners pass rush did a pretty good job of having disciplined pass rush lanes. How about that stop early on the 4th and 1 where San Francisco was able to stop Jordan Love on the quarterback sneak? And again, these things matter throughout the course of a football game. And again, it's hard to really catch your breath with this Niners win. But the Niners get the dub 24-21. That is 5 straight wins over the Packers in the NFL playoffs going all the way back to 2013. They were 4-0 against Aaron Rodgers, and now Kyle Shanahan over Matt LaFleur gets a victory again. A programming reminder. We're going to go live for Lions Buccaneers coming up on Sunday, self-scouting to see who the Niners will play in that game. We'll be live a couple of times this week as well, bringing you the latest Niners analysis. And if the Niners make it to the Super Bowl, I'm already going to Super Bowl 58 in Las Vegas. Our coverage will be absolutely fantastic. So make sure you subscribe. Trace, what did we get? Past 111,000 subscribers during our watch party. More than 300,000 views. That's absolutely awesome. Bang, bang, Niner gang. Thanks for supporting the show. And thanks for watching our post-game recap here on the program.